Hey everyone, I'm here with a little video lesson on these little things here. Now they may seem simple enough, but I've been trying to think of a good way to explain them and it's been pretty tough, but essentially I refer to them as grace notes, which is probably wrong, but on my notation software they're called dead notes. I think because essentially there's no like melodic value to them, they're just kind of adding like a rhythmic texture. But I was asked about them when I made my cover of Roxanne by Jay Graydon, because in my notation for that I had these little X's on the tab, and I was asked to maybe explain how to use them and how to get the right feel across, and it's a pretty good question. I've thought about this for a little while now, and I think I've got a good answer. But what I thought would be a better thing to do was to use probably a more well-known song to kind of highlight these parts. So that's why I just did my cover of Human Nature. So let's have a listen to Steve Lukather's use of these dead notes or grace notes, just in the verse section. Okay, so let's just take a little portion of what Luke was playing there, and we use that as the main example going forward. So just something like, okay. Now the main reason why you'd want to use grace notes or dead notes like this, I would say, is to keep time. If I was just to play the actual melodic notes there, and I'll keep my right hand going up and down so you can see downbeats and upbeats, you'll see where these notes land. It'd be something like this. Okay, so we've got a couple of notes there on the upbeat, and sometimes we call the upbeat the offbeat, and it's maybe a bit harder to play those in time, especially if there's like a long gap. That's why you see a lot of the time people will just like to keep their right hand strumming up and down just to help with that. So with a lick like this, we can't really just, do that. And you might think, well, I can just play those notes on their own. And yeah, sure, you could do something like... But I guarantee when you're doing that for a full song, you won't be able to keep that as well in time as if you had some sort of movement anchoring you to like the down and up beats. So essentially, instead of us doing like that over the whole strings, we can just kind of do that over the main string that we're using. But then you actually come into another problem. You find that, well, when I'm coming in on the notes I want to ring out melodically, I might end up actually hitting the string when I don't intend to, and it's going to create these dead notes. So it's almost like you're embracing it, really. Because if I was just to keep my right hand going up and down over that string and just play the melodic notes, it might be a bit tricky. It'd be something like... there's a couple of dead notes in there that I didn't want. So it's like, well, I'll embrace those dead notes. I'll use my palm, I'll rest it at the bottom of the bridge here to dampen when I'm not playing those melodic notes, and I'll lift off the frets when I'm not playing them, and you end up getting like... So you could play every strum and just have those melodic notes come out, and you'll have the dead notes, and it kind of works. But now we're getting into something which is, for lack of a better term, it doesn't have feel, and you might think, well, that's subjective, but you can hear it's maybe a bit robotic if you're striking the string at every opportunity in between the notes. Yeah, it's a bit robotic. So I think what you'll find that Luke's doing, and I don't think he's doing it exactly the same all the time, but he's coming in and out when he feels it's best to. So it's that type of feel, so to speak, which gives that little bit of playing a sense of character, I guess. You're getting a melodic part with the notes, and you're getting a bit of a rhythmic texture with the palm mute and dead notes. On my Roxanne cover, the kind of rhythm I was playing was more like a shuffle rhythm. So instead of like the straight the straight kind of 16th or 8th notes of, I was doing a shuffle. And you might find that some of these like R&B type tunes, they'll have that shuffle rhythm. So what I suggest is, whenever you're playing these dead notes, try and follow like the drum hi-hat, and you'll get the kind of rhythm you're looking for. If there's any other tips for playing it, there's a couple in terms of settings. Like whenever I'm playing something like this, I'll use the kind of in-between settings. So instead of the neck pickup, which would sound like, I like to go in between the neck and the middle. Gives it a little bit of a floppy kind of sound, I guess. And instead of the bridge, go in between the bridge and the middle. I think that's a cooler sound. Also, sometimes what I'll do, I had it on there, I'll put on an overdrive, but I'll turn the gain right down, and that can give you a little bit of compression without using a compressor. Because I also have a compressor on, which kind of squeezes the notes, so the loud notes and the quiet notes kind of get squeezed together so they're like of consistent volume. What that means is that if you're actually playing something a bit harder, it doesn't change the volume, it just changes the tone of the note, which I think is really good. But if you don't have a compressor, you don't discourage yourself from trying this, you know. Like I say, you can maybe get a little bit of a compression sound using an overdrive. So like I was saying, this is me without the overdrive. This is me with the overdrive on, with the gain all the way down. I'll sometimes do that if I'm playing over a cover, because the gain maybe just helps bring it through the mix a bit. But apart of that, I can't think of anything else that I think would work. Like I say, just try and give it a go, and listen to a lot of different examples, you know. So Lukather used to play a lot of this stuff on his session work, you know, something like Human Nature, and then the kind of Michael McDonald stuff. You know, I keep forgetting Jay Graydon, of course, like I mentioned earlier, and even, you know, the other greats like Michael Landau and Dan Huff, whenever they're playing on the poppy tracks. And probably one of the best kind of rhythmic players, Paul Jackson Jr., he'll be doing all these kind of grace notes and dead notes type of playing. So just have a look around and see if you can hear what they're doing and get a feel for it. Okay. If there's any questions, just ask me in the comments. I'll see if I can describe it. But apart from that, I hope this helps you get going with the playing.